started off on the right foot for Noot Noot, looking at Breeze, their map pick headed into the series, and then DSG, they figured them out. They woke up. I don't know, Sapphire, but what we got to see from DSG, I mean, it was clear to see why they're a squad that were able to take it so far in Series 2.
Yeah, of course. They didn't, they maintained their confidence. Obviously, it was a slow start to them, but then they just, it was close until it wasn't, right? Like, they were so dominant. It's a really, like, just good, confident floods on the site that you just failed to find answers to later on. And we also saw that, like, from Unstable's perspective, like, causing a ton of chaos, like, especially we saw in that one of those later rounds, like, I think it was either Doug or Paula said, like, if they would have had a Vandal there, it would have been over then. But yeah, a lot of nice positioning from DSG. Noot Noot still had some great moments though.
Yeah, I think it started, right, a little bit one-sided towards Noot Noot, but if there's something that we know about this guy since Game Changer Series 2 is that you just gotta wait. You just gotta wait until the very end, because the scores are gonna look very different, especially when they start a little bit one-sided. And I think this is something that I've seen for this guys quite a bit, where maybe it's one of the players, or maybe just overall they're starting a little bit slower, trying to figure out what is happening. But we did see a timeout, and after that, DSG started getting back in control and making that the half even, taking that control right at the end. I mean, we saw a half where on the attacking side, Noot Noot only got 2 rounds. That's all they could get at the very end.
Yeah, and Disguise, even when they're down to be starting out the round, but they were never out of things. And I mean, I'd really like to be Easy and Unstable and Katarina for the impact they were able to make. The whole team just did phenomenal. But
yeah,
there's multiple times where you're looking and it's just unstable with this 2K, this 3K, and it's like, dang, on top of all the Yoru confusion as well headed into it, Dan, I mean, it just felt like an impossible situation for Noot Noot at times.
There were so many cool ideas for both of the teams, a little bit of a difference between the compositions, both of them having the Yoru. And again, it felt like it started great when we got to see the beginning of Noot Noot, but then it became a little too predictable, right? When we saw the Yoru always playing towards that backside, always being red. And that is something that worked out so well for these guys when it came to those floods, both on the attacking and defending side. When they had to take control, everybody knew exactly where to go, exactly where to get those kills. And that was really the difference maker at the very end. If not, it feels like Noot Noot could have gotten away with it.
Yeah, and I mean, Disguise, they picked things up on their attack, but once they got to the defensive end, it really didn't stop, because the retakes that we were able to see coming out of them as well was phenomenal. There's a round even that we wanted to be highlighting here, Dan, and just how well Disguise were able to navigate and push the situation.
And this is what I was just bringing out, right? That coordinated, overwhelming presence in so many of these scenarios, in so many of these rounds for this guys. We get to see it on this specific retake, and we also even got to see it towards that first half. It was something, and it's something that this guys has been doing constantly. The coordination in situations like this one, pressure situations for them, it's always clean to get away with this crucial rounds.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the improvements we've seen since we brought in that new coach. We see a lot of the improvements, a lot of that coordination. They won the majority of those post plants, those retakes, even when they're down a player too. So really nice composure from DSG in this map.
We'll have to see going into our next map of Bind here. Oh, this one's going to be shaking out, because obviously when we're looking at Disguise, this is their pick and it's definitely something that they're comfortable with. But Heather, looking at Noot Noot, this was the map where they almost did what seems like the impossible and almost took a map off of V1 here. So they're well versed in this, so I feel like this one could really go either way.
Yeah, they were in fact leading in that match. Like they could have had that and they let it slip away. Like we highlighted at the top of the show, Kari had some really nice moments, like great ability to stay alive and put themselves in that clutch play. We saw some really nice plays from the Euro and Zan on that, so it's certainly a map that, while it's not their pick, they feel very comfortable on it.
And that summarizes it perfectly, right? Talking about this guy choosing this map, when you look at them, when you look at the scores that they've gotten on this map, in this Game Changers, and overall the history that they have in Bind, it's pretty good. But also Noot Noot like to bring some cool ideas. They play, or they've been playing at least a double duelist here with the Yoru and the Raze, and that's how they managed, at least at some point, to take the lead against version 1, unfortunately not being able to close it out. But I think those cool ideas are kind of what is going to be needed for Noot Noot if they want to take us to a map 3, because I mean, you guys are bringing it up, right? It was a lead that they initially took against version 1 that they couldn't hold for any longer, and then we just got to see the same thing on Breeze against this guy. So it's gonna be, how are they gonna take the lead and how are they gonna keep it until the very end to push us to that third map?
I think Raze and Yoru might be my favorite double duelist combo out there. It just seems like the most chaotic thing out there. And they're looking at that. I mean, we've praised Disguise for can be a really explosive playstyle sometimes, but I feel like looking at this Raze and Yoru that we'll most likely see from Noot Noot, that they seem very matched in that explosiveness.
Oh, yeah, certainly. I think, and we saw that. Like, they're obviously going to feel confident going into this map. We saw a lot of those explosive plays the last time we played against version 1, but it is going to be matched, I think, potentially by Unstable's Raze as well. And Katarina is going to play very, very aggressive, very confident on that chamber. Back to full.
And my biggest thing, too, looking ahead at this match that we have for Bind is Noot Noot. It seemed like Disguise had figured them out a little bit, Dan. So how they're able to just shake that new map, reset into this to try and take us into map 3.
Again, I mean, you're going to have to bring those weird plays in a way, especially if you're going to continue playing this Yoru and this Raze. But again, if you're going to deal with that composition, if you're going to bring crazy, unique things with a composition, it's got to be that your Raze, if they're able to play it out. You can have a lot of control with these two agents alone, right? When you have the control towards Hookah especially, and then towards Long, you can position a little bit more of the Sentinel taking that control. But again, to me, it's going to be, if Noot Noot takes control early on, can they hold it until the very end, which is something that they've been lacking so far.
Headed into our agent Slack. A big thing about that explosive control looking out from Noot Noot. They have the firepower on their attack. How are the retakes going to go as they will be starting on the defense here? As Disguise, and they're looking over at the squad. We got the single duelist here, but we got that chamber back for Katarina, which, I mean, we got to see how that played out map 1.
Yeah, exactly. No real surprises from here, from this team. I know we said in the past they like to mix things up, but this is what they've been playing for the last couple of games on Bind, and they've had enormous success on this map.
And then looking over on the defensive end of Noot Noot and the comp that they have, I mean, they got the smokes and stuff. They got their options to get back on, but how are we thinking that's going to go down with how Bree shook up?
It's going to be an interesting balance, especially at the beginning. We talked about the Yoru and the Raze, but as they start on the defensive side, that's when the real question comes through, right? On the attacking side, this guy that likes to be explosive, go right behind Unstable, who always manages to find an insane amount of value, but also taking into account a Noot Noot that has to take the same aggression in so many of those scenarios.
Well, it's time to see if Noot Noot can do that. In fact, looking ahead at Bind, if they can push it into a map 3 of Ascent, or if it's Disguise going to be taking the 2-0 in this Series 2 rematch. Now to take us through the action, it's time to head over and hear from Doug and Bala.
Thank you so much, Sierra. Yeah, Ball, the good news is if you like the Yoru in the previous map, we've got more. We're going to have the Yoru. We're also going to have the Raze Chamber on the other side. And I think that I personally love Bind anyway. So when you add Chamber and you add Yoru to the mix, I'm just a happy guy. Yeah, we'll see how it pans out. Again, DSG and Noot Noot going up against each other and clashing on Bind. You saw DSG finally able to figure things out while Noot had a great start on Breeze. DSG figured it out. They were able to get back into things. And then, as Heather so succinctly put it and so eloquently said it, it was close until it really wasn't. We'll see how things pan out this time around. DSG starting off on the attacking side. We talked about the fact that they're going to have the Raze with the Sky. There's a lot of pop and a lot of go potential here, Paula.
Yeah, absolutely there is. I'm looking right now at a pop on this A side. And Malibu is set up on top of truck. Early pistol round could be very, very difficult for them to consider, but...
Oh, hello.
That's beautiful.
Oh, dear. Yep. Not the start that DSG was looking for.
And that's Misu's Cove. Remember, that's the attack-sided Cove actually coming through on that. I thought he gave a great position to Malibu. I was wondering, is there a Harbor on this side? Because that's an easy kill for her.
I mean, but also, what a read, right? They freaking read him like a book. They knew what they were going to do before the round had even started. is exactly what was needed, but things have calmed down at least for a moment into a 4v4, but of course, as I say that, the guns erupt, and so do the kills. Lazy Lion left alone in a 1v2, made a 1v1, now Kari left on her own. Really no idea where she's gonna be, the gun's drawn, and the kill comes through for Kari, the pistol for Noot Noot.
And that all starts off the early pick there. That denies the spike plant and actually gives no room for them to hold on to that site and go for any sort of pivot or anything like that. So they have to recover deep onto that site outside the truck. Bit of a mistake there. And again, you're not expecting somebody to go top truck on pistol round.
No, why would you? Yeah.
Definitely should be something considered when you have agents that could get up there, but it's not something when you're going for practice pistols that you kind of have to have that used against you when you're going through your drive runs, and clearly not. Same start now for Noot. They win the pistol, see if they can convert a bonus, if they can get out to that hot start like they did last time on Blues.
Idiots. So far, so good. That's one classic down. Just 4 remain, and you see it on the minimap. Noot has taken so much space on the defensive side of things on B. You've got Malibu, who's already weighed down by Fountain. Zan is dealing with pressure towards Showers. Noot just have firm control of the map.
One dead.
It doesn't seem like they're going to be giving that up and relenting on it anytime soon. Katarina and Hannah are going to have to pull off a miracle if they want to get back into this. And it's now just Katarina who has upgraded a weapon. Gotten a Bulldog. Gotten a couple kills. That's 3. Can she get the final 2 with 35 HP? I mean...
And there's nobody
This would
close.
be... Yeah, but this would... my goodness, this would be ridiculous.
I mean, we've seen crazy stuff from her before.
That is true.
Slowing things down right now is the right call, looking for anybody to go a little bit too aggressive. She knows she can win this, though.
30 seconds left.
So with the 30 seconds, she has to commit now. And Noot have actually spread out. I'm concerned here.
I wonder how long is left on that gate crash. All right,
It
just expired.
yeah.
Zan doesn't take it.
Yeah, that's the important part, not taking it. Now
Yeah.
she walks on the site right now. Zen will get the info.
Oh, the timing.
10
She's worried
seconds
about the
left.
flank back behind her, push back through spawn
Yeah.
into elbow, but instead she's going to be rewarded with the plant. Can't go aggressive now, though. Has to wait for the ability to come across, and that's going to take a lot of time. Gives so much room. She just snuck back side.
Yeah, she has no idea. Katarina did so well to make it that far. A couple of heroic kills, gets a spike down, so secures a little bit more money. But that 1v2 is just a little out of reach.
Yeah, it's really tough in Katarina's position because she doesn't want to like cross back elbow, because at that point somebody could definitely be watching the cross, making sure that she's staying on site. That's a possibility. So she can't really move too much when she's risking that, but I think it's worth a risk in those instances, especially if you can isolate a 1v1. That's why I was shocked that Sand walked out without Millie anywhere close.
Yeah.
Because that could have been a 1v1 that Katarina wins, and then all of a sudden,
Right.
not only is she in a 1v1, but she's also completely in nowhere, right? Millie has no clue
Right.
where she could be. There's plenty of time to reposition. But look at the damage done. This bonus from Noot is almost neutered. 3 sheriffs, a guardian. That's what they're buying
Yeah.
up.
I mean, Katarina did so much work. That flash, look at them scale up behind the cascade. Very nicely done. Oh, we're going forward.
Ooh.
Unstable straight into the oh!
Not again!
What? That shot from Carey was filthy. Forget the high ground, that didn't matter. And somehow, through all of this, Noot have a numbers advantage. They've got guns. They're going to eco them. Unless Katarina once again pulls off a miracle, and no, much like Breeze, Noot up big early.
Yeah, that bonus conversion is, especially this one. On Breeze, the anti-eco was kind of nice. It's decent out of Noot. They had plenty of guns in that bonus. This time around, they had 1 Vandal, 1 Guardian, 3 Sheriffs. That should not win against the 5. And DSG, again, really good ideas. I was mentioning how when Unstable comes onto this race in the first map, because she was playing Yoru on Breeze, their movement is insane. But one thing that's very clear is she's always going for these double satchels onto high ground. And
Yeah.
you saw actually the Cove. That was a really interesting play, right? To isolate a fight, but not taking that fight. Unstable's just looking for extra coming out on top of that box.
I mean, it kind of feels like they're trying to play it like a cloudburst for
Exactly.
old Jet,
No,
right?
exactly.
Like pre-nerf Jet. But the problem with that is that's now twice that Noot have read it. It's like they know it. It's almost like it's too telegraphed or something like that. But I do wish we could have seen that shot out from Kari's point of view as well. But not gifted with that one. Back into the 4th round, pistols for DSG.
And with the momentum after winning map 1, with what Katarina did on that 2nd round, this could get a lot more dangerous here. Yeah, Noot just essentially ecoed them. So that satchel out, not enough though. And the Molly is just doing so much damage to come out as well. Nobody else flooding with her. Kari is just, I mean, easily could see an ace coming out here.
One enemy remaining.
It's just 3. Millie takes it away. Lazy Lion, the last one remaining. I think the interesting thing, too, to consider there is, yeah, it's very early in the half, and that's perhaps why Summer decided to use the Seekers there. But they dropped that ult. They invested into it. You've got a couple that are still up. Zan's is up. Kari's is going to be up very soon as well. We'll keep an eye on how those ults are rotating and refreshing. But for now, it seems like Noot, once again, much like we saw in the previous round, they were up 4-0 before DSG finally got on the board. Yeah. That's exactly where we are now.
And it came off of a timeout here from Coach Poach as well. A huge shift in DSG on Breeze, where they ended up being able to tie up the half from this position. Now, we don't really expect the same thing, but we are getting the timeout too. The reason I say I'm not expecting the same thing is I don't think there's as much room to maneuver on Bind. There's obviously a lot of different control shots you can do, but when it comes to actually hitting these sites, when I see stuff like this is just pure miscoordination. Obviously, there's a molly on the foot, but multiple people jumping out by themselves. And the control ideas of getting hookah there early is not something that you could really repetitively go for. And you need to explore other places on the map.
The other thing, and I don't know if you remember, is DSG has a timeout here. We'll see what Poach decides to do. I want to say Lazy Lion had their ult or was very close to having their ult, and I don't remember what the other DSG members had. Yeah. So I wonder if, you know, maybe there's a little extra behind this round that they could invest with the ultimates that they may have online, because you've got to find something here to kind of break this bleeding and this momentum that Noot have amassed.
Yeah. It is just Katarina and Lazy Lion kind of 2 off as well. The ult change is coming into a factor here. So no Brim ult, nothing like that. And we have the Yoru ult, which Noot has done something with every time. Not the same tools, though, here. Remember, they had the Breach, they had the Sova as well, that they were really combining well with the Yoru. But early exploration again, yeah. It's going for it. Looking for a sand trap.
Here.
Oh, they spotted one. Spotted both.
Yeah, this is just for information. See what kind of strat they go out with. And they push it back. Take space with the dog. So now there's a frontal push from Malibu. And they're scared of a spawn TP or something like that. Not unstable.
Malibu's up really far with not a lot of help. Finally takes a step back and even satchels further, realizing how exposed that position was.
Yeah. And despite pushing DSG back all that way, they instantly take it back. And you also have Katarina and Hannah holding on to not only A short, but taking full control of bathroom. And DSG still gets what they wanted at the beginning of this round. I mean, you saw it in the last round taking hookah. That cascade just allows it.
Yeah, they do it later in the round, and they do it investing utility that they may have not had to use otherwise, is my only concern with that. I think you're right, right? Like, they got what they wanted.
Right here, Malibu.
At what cost?
I've got your trail.
She's close. Once again, unstable, alone. The shots come through from Malibu. They invest the Seekers. It seems like they want to commit A with 4 members, but there's going to be a crunch shot from Showers. As both go through the teleporter. The flashback there as well. They have to push forward, and they can't. I mean, Noot is drawing a line in the sand, and there's just no way out.
And not the same reaction. DSG won instantly out of this. Now this streak is getting really, really hard for DSG to start thinking about the same resurgence that we saw on that first map. Remember, the Des was talking about it. When they mentioned this match that Noot and DSG played back in the close qualifiers for Game Changers Series 2, this map right here was a stomp for DSG. 13-1. And you think that actually stays in your mind of a lot of players, but right here, right now, Noot not showing any sign that they remember that whatsoever. In fact, adopting this Yoru on the map as well, going for double duelist, which DSG is known to do in the past.
Dog traded for flash down belong. The spike is in that area. Do they commit? What more do they do with this? They dog, they flash, they're going to take the fight? I mean, they have the gun advantage, and it seems to work out. Kari investing, the pit. And this is, I mean, they're not out of the woodworks on this. A big pick if Katarina can land it, but just taking the crosshair off the window.
That's disgusting again. Just utterly disgusting there for Malibu. Turned a sticky situation on this eco. This light buy from DSG into a very
One enemy
Note
remaining.
here, Unstable has a Guardian.
Spike
Well,
down
Unstable had a Guardian.
Spike's way
And
too
his
far
left.
for him.
Yeah. There were, what, maybe 2 instances there where things could have gotten out of hand, but ultimately Noot kept control. A 6-0 lead.
Yeah,
I mean, you mentioned, Bala, that maybe it seems like Noot just aren't thinking about the 13-1 shellacking that they took previously. Part of me wonders if they're remembering it very vividly as just like motivation or something else like that to stick it to him a little extra, because this is a stomp.
Yeah, this is absolutely a brilliant start from Noot. Controlling everything that DSG is throwing at them and also being proactive on their own. A lot of times you see a team who doesn't have the same experience as a lot of these other teams that are making main event after main event. This is Noot's first time in the main event of a Game Changers series. And they look drilled. They look with so much depth.
Yeah, they look good here. I will say this here, Bala. I think if DSG are to stop the bleeding, it's here, right? They've got the Orbital Strike. They've got the Reckoning. They've got the Showstopper. 3 very big tools. Hey, if they can't convert something here, I think we might be in for a very quick trip to Ascent. But they've got to be able to execute it.
Oh, shallow smokes from both of them and that harbor wall. Normally you're doing that to get a plant, but nobody sent in at all.
They might flip the map here. Look at all the space Katarina is taking.
Walking out, I love this.
It's bold. It also feels non-committal.
Yep.
A little bit of attention drawn, maybe.
Oh, and she's gotten all the way up into. They've gotten all the way up
Holy
into
smokes.
elbow. There's no way
Do they
they're
know?
expecting this. No.
Just one. That's all it is. Summer's dropped. I mean, DSG, the patience is paid off. We wondered, were they going to flip the map? Were they going to pop with all of their ults? They actually go for plan C and contact their way out. Unstable gets behind enemy lines, gets a massive kill, and secures the round.
Talk about what Dan and Heather were talking about on the desk. No matter what the scoreline looks for DSG, just wait. Just wait a little longer.
Yeah.
That's a great mid-round call again. You saw a lot of that success on Breeze, really pulling and tugging on the strings of Noot to put themselves in advantageous situations. And there it again. I mean, it's a free kill. It's a free sight almost. And that's because they use a different idea, a new tactic to throw off Noot. I just talked about depth for Noot, and I was really referring to the proactivity. But here you just see another little approach that if you're not used to something like that, if you're not used to a team just completely freezing while smokes are up, then you're never ready to accept a walk push through elbow from the duelist.
Well, and I think it was also combined with the timing of Katarina shooting and showing presence in showers.
Yeah.
I mean, just all of that. I mean, that's got to be somebody make a YouTube video on that round.
Oh! I mean, over and over, Malibu's just finding these nasty shots. Remember that 4K on Breeze to really start the momentum. Dude, she's fantastic so far. Miss Satchel a little bit. TP out.
What? No way!
There's so much going on. And
what? I'm floored by that round. Okay, think about what went down. They satchel out with the Showstopper and the Orbital Strike. There's patience. I mean, Unstable even showed patience to know not to shoot the first Yoru. Saw that it was a clone target. Somehow, because of the TP, Zan gets away. Kari's able to hold the site on her own. That was filth.
Yeah. Just so much going on there. And on the other side, too, you instantly get... That's something that you've seen, actually, on Breeze quite a lot. And a lot of matches for DSG. If Katarina gets picked off early, you speed up from DSG. You kind of hit the go button. And actually, thinking back to the round that DSG won, where Unstable walked into elbow, one of the things that missed there was no double satchel. And if you're prepared for that to come through, as this showstopper's not going to find anything, actually Unstable tucks into the TP. If you're prepared for that eventuality over and over and it doesn't come, what do? You're expecting it to come?
Right. Quick pause on the round from DSG here. They do have the Seekers for Lazy Lion. Unstable just now is leaving the teleporter. So a quick reset and what seems like a very soft 1-3-1. Some of the lanes are occupied. But again, this idea, much like we saw in the previous round, the DSG were able to find success on. It is Katarina on the opposite side, trying to draw some pressure, trying to make some presence known. There's some presence known right there. The flash confirming position of at least one.
Stim up, but Unstable's still in a position to maybe punish on that A side and maybe go for a pivot here. It's almost every time that they're going for the opposite side that Katarina's on.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, well, I mean, even there, you see the idea was the same. Unstable was left in a short. They made some presence B to see if they take Telly and try to flip the map. You get a free one picked off. They're doing such a good job of inserting a lurker late in rounds to see if they can get value, but you've just been so wise to it. Good night, Malibu. That sucks. I'm sorry.
Unstable just used the opponent's satchel to get a peek off on that with the flash at the same time. That's crazy.
Katarina with the ops and dropped. Nice shot. Very cleanly done. Millie filling in the space that was once occupied. It seems like DSG are on their way to another round. Unstable's going to clean up Millie, leaving Summer on her own. That shot was disgusting. Can they find much more? No. Just not going to be the case.
If you say
Two
one of
now
my
for
creatures
DSG,
is a
and
good thing, all
I was
right?
thinking to myself,
Figure out what they do.
when we started this off, right, 6-0, even if DSG start to crawl some rounds in, they're dealing with a massive bank on the side of Noot. And they're starting, especially now that they've reset the loss bonus once. Noot are not going to have, I mean, there's still maybe one buy in the bank as the half comes to an end. DSG need to start to make this clean, otherwise it's going to start to hurt their ego at the same time. If they want that 7-5.
Scout.
This time a flash. Zan taking the angle with the op. Side, you don't normally see that line desired when there's that Viper wall that's going through teleporter, but they still take the shot, get away. Meanwhile, you have two players just on the other side of each other in A short.
Every time Millie is playing on the edge of her smokes. That's really good when people go for double satchels when they dive past.
Yeah.
You see switching sides multiple times. On the one way, she's on the right. On the fully covered smoke, she's on the left. It's really tough to clear, especially after any dog is used, any boombot, anything like that from DSG. It's still not used though. Lazy Lion trying to take up Hookah. Once again, these goals you can see in the mid round.
On the money.
Millie just got up a little bit too aggressive. Kill traded on the opposite side. They invest the Seekers, and that's going to clear out all of the western side of the map. They've got to commit to A, and they've got to do so quickly, but Noot are fast to trot as well. 2 through teleporter.
Yeah, this is still pivotable here from DSG too, but with the Cove going down with the high tide as well, they're going to hold on to this. I don't know if
Spike planted.
they did here. You can see Unstable starting to reflank that bathroom.
This is a big kill if Unstable can get it. Nice out from Summertime. Oh my gosh! Unstable had a chance to secure the round right there. What a huge kill out from Summer. Number still in favor of Noot though as the spike continues to tick away. Ari timing everything. Hannah has so much to do. No molly, no ult, nothing like that. It's just a tap for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably already on the floor. Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
And that resets DSG right now. They've got a scrappy buy in the next. Hannah's not going to be able to buy. Unstable's not really going to be able to buy maybe a Guardian, a Bulldog, something like that. Even the other three, you're talking scraps. Vandal light armor sort of thing. That's a scary prospect.
Yes, it
Who do
is.
you give it to? That's the sort of decisions they've got to make right now. This first half, you don't want to get blown out.
You got to do something to keep it competitive here, and it seems like that scrappy buy. They're investing into it. A Spectre in the hands of Hannah, light armor, and 2 members. DSG are digging real deep into this. You talk about not wanting to get blown out. You've got... well, not the start they were looking for. They've got to be able to convert here. The one benefit is that was the Spectre. You still have 4 rifles in play.
Yeah, it's also the Brimstone. So the amount of pivoting that they're doing right now, where they're going for oh, the nade Viper Molly is just gorgeous. They're losing these early engagements frequently, and it's because of read clears like this. Look at this from Noot.
Dude,
Talk
Noot,
about depth, man.
they're having a field day with this right now. There's just, well, that's unfortunate timing there for Millie. Katarina turns a 1v4 into something a little bit more possible. And when I say a little bit, I mean a percentage point maybe. But what a response from Noot. And Bala, you mentioned it before the previous round, or before this round, excuse me. The money, it was pretty bad before this investment. And they put so much into this. I don't know how Katarina got a second. I mean, this is very likely a 10-2.
Yep. Absolutely.
Last round in the half.
Completely broke here for DSG. 2.4K, the money that they actually earned in that. This is busted.
Yep.
2 is crazy. Remember, we keep mentioning that 13-1 that DSG actually had on this map against Noot. And look at it now. A reversal of fortunes on the second map. Remember, Noot down 1.
You want to
Their
play,
first main
let's
event.
play.
Going at in their first series here, one of the potential favorites for this event.
Oh, the dog didn't clear the brim. The dog didn't clear Millie. 2 kills there, 2 free ones. Finally, Katarina able to stop one. Upgrading a weapon, but you talk about disaster. Maybe Misu gets something here.
Yeah, not only
Yeah,
Misu,
hang
but
on.
look at Unstable's position.
Here.
She's on top of the TP right now.
How patient is she?
Ted coming out!
Oh, the judge!
Another Vandal upgraded.
That was like watching a Phoenix ult and just waiting on that. How have DSG kept this in competitive? Misu has to bet a big kill here, and of course she does. Kari left in a 1v3. You just, again, I'm reminded of what Heather and Dan were saying on the desk. You just gotta wait. Just wait. Just wait, and DSG will pull something out. That's exactly what they've done here. So it'd have to be a 1v3 out from Kari. It's now a 1v2. Misu's very weak. This is difficult, but doable.
Enemy remaining.
She's gotten it down to 1. Oh my goodness. Unstable gets DSG to a 9-3 half. But, I mean, beautiful half from Noot, from top to bottom.
Oh, for sure. A 9-3 half on binds. This is well above, your averages on the map. And you're seeing so much diversity of plays, too. Noot are not only fluid, but very responsive. The amount of re-clears that they did on this defensive side, the amount of first picks that they're getting off of just really nice intuition as well. With a weird comp, sure. But again, something that they've kind of stolen from DSG. DSG really leaning into the chamber for Katarina, and right now it's not paying off. But defensive side,
Time to jump.
maybe that's where things can really start to heat up for DSG. Saw and Breeze a fantastic second half from them. See if they can replicate.
We'll also have to keep a very close eye on Zan, the player on your screen right now. All of the misdirection that Yoru offers. You think about when Yoru was so non-existent in pro play, it was really on bind that Yoru started to get some footing. See if they can pull some of that off. Meanwhile, it's a disastrous pistol start.
Yeah, the spike is down. As Misu gets what I believe was a collat from a ghost shot, which is something crazy. Smoke goes down on top of the spike. That might actually net Noot the ability to regain that, and that's a defensive side smoke. So yeah, they do grab the spike. They do recover a semblance of hope in this round.
Using the smoke that was intended to deny. What do they do from here? Where do Noot go? You've got Malibu's taking a little bit of damage. No utility other than the flash out from Zan. And really nothing but silence across the map.
30 seconds left.
Talk about the luxury of still having 5 members up on a pistol. You don't have to fully invest one way. You can fully spread out, know you still have numbers, and convert those numbers into a round win. Bisu's gotten 4. Malibu somehow got those kills, but the damage that the Satchel does now is enough to secure the round.
That's crazy.
On a raise, no less.
That's crazy. And repetition from Breeze, right? DSG come out with the pistol here. I think Noot did manage to have a very successful E-Cup in the next few. But DSG have to pull out way better of a half. I look at this and I look at the Harbor, I look at the Brim, right? I think, okay, retake's very solid. Map control early, very solid as well. This is kind of a comp that I do lean a little bit more defense-sided with. It just depends so much. You're talking about the misdirection from the early, that sort of thing. I mean, come on. 2? The deep nade? Not even a molly combo or anything like that from Kari. That's just pure nade damage.
It just seems like we're destined for ascent, bro. With the way Noot are playing this.
Yeah. Absolutely, with the shots that they're hitting. But they aren't able to recover any of those weapons, so that's the bright spot. If you're at DSG right now, but Katarina's position is really tough. I mean, just holding one random angle. TP is nowhere near her. And they're expecting the flank.
Yeah, she has a bulldog. Patience here. That might be enough to give Katarina some room to stay alive or to go aggressively make a play. In the smoke for now. Kari's still in the teleporter, by the way. Just now making their way out. The Stinger and the Bulldog have gotten a couple. Katarina pushes forward, looking for the third. The clip runs dry. The Ghost, it's just too much. Now Kari has to figure out a 1v3 on her own, and she can't. That was a 5v3.
Yeah. Yeah. But on the anti-eco, and like I said, no guns recovered, and they're not able to punish the position from Katarina. In fact, they give her more space. And
yeah,
they were concerned about that flank, as you saw. And looking back in that position, but have bigger priorities, which is to take the site eventually. I think in those positions, you kind of want to try to dry walk and look to push your advantage on where there can't be as many crossfires, right? Just mathematically. Instead, they go for a smoke. They limit their options, and they actually give more room for DSG there to play. But still some damage done. Katarina was just a ghost. Hannah was just a sheriff. Those two players. Not much.
Oh.
Wow. Fast reckoning. This is cool, too. It covers both sides of this lane, right? Short A and Sand. They pushed them all the way back.
They did, and they filled some of the space, and they've taken it. I wondered if they were just going to give it right back. But they still apply a little bit of pressure through a short. They do lose the sight, though, and they get the spike down. And look at this setup. Look at this mini-map. It's just a bloody mess. You've got 3 attack players that are pushing into spawn. You have 1 attack player that's in their own. You've got a 3-player flank coming in through attack side spawn. This is just a mess. I don't think they know where Kari is. So all of these eyes turn towards Hannah's position. It's just going to provide some space for Kari to take it, yeah.
Oh.
Lazy Lion and Hannah getting 2 big ones. Looking for the third, not able to. Malibu cleans it up, a 2v2. There it is. There's Kari's late flank, and that might secure things.
1 enemy remaining.
Time is just not in abundance.
Well, they planted on the side of Triple there, too, so even if things failed at holding at the front of sight, like they did in Lamps, at least you got 1, but yeah, that was a well-played flip from Noot immediately. A very unique idea from DSG. I've never seen that Reckoning be used where it's covering both sides of the barrier at the beginning. And it nets them an early kill, but as that's going down, that's why Zan's rushing them to try to get back with their team.
1 enemy remaining. 1 enemy
They're flipping
remaining.
the map, flipping the site. No way to get back through that. And way too much time spent to actually run back after that initial push from DSG. Viper Wall across the site right now as the Trailblazer comes in from bathroom.
Fire in the hole!
Splits things up hard for Katarina.
Not too hard to get away, though. Dealt a little bit of damage, too. It seems like so far we've got a 5v5 on site right now. DSG is able to keep them back, and that's just with 2 members. Or excuse me, 3. 2 are still on the rotate back. Kari and Millie left alone.
Spike down.
And it's all on to Kari now. Who's a hero in the previous round. The timing was everything. But it's just going to require a whole lot more than just timing to win a 1v4.
Toxins going up.
It's a sad way to go.
I was thinking, okay, Cascade falls. Yeah, she's behind it. Then she puts her own wall up. And we'll see. Yes, she trying to claw this back. That was a phenomenal hold. I think a little telegraphed with that wall coming down. And then they push the front of it. Not like using it in the conventional way to walk behind and get a free plant towards triple. Ignoring the truck. And they're back down to pistols, so DSG still working the momentum right now. Not really ballooning an economy or anything like that, but
Yeah, not in that, but I do think it's worth keeping an eye on the ults that DSG are going to have online very soon. If they can get through this without investing any lazy line, just got theirs up.
love that.
Cat's now 2 points away from having the Tour de Force online as well. DSG are poised really well to snowball.
Yeah, two things I want to note there from the chamber play. Katarina shoots the dog, but continues to spam before ending up going for that TP. Remember I was talking about on that first map, delaying a little bit until the info can actually be converted, and that's why Katarina has extra time there to wait for that TP. And then she continues to spam into that high tide, knowing exactly the positions that they could be peeking from. Free kill. Went for extra value every time. If you want to snowball here, you need to make these anti-ecos clean. And starts like that are how you avoid the situation that actually unfolded on that second round, where they had to fall back 3-5. 2 TPs already used. I mean, we're seeing pretty nerve chamber at this point.
30 seconds left.
Again, they flipped the map towards B, but 2 members are already here. 2 members are still here, excuse me. And if I remember correctly, it was the 2 culprits that secured the round by themselves previously. Misu's able to get one, traded back. Lazy Lion with the classic, the knife, not from that distance. Not going to connect. Kari's left alone. 11 seconds left. The spike not in hand. The round surely secured and done. Well, I say that. Yeah, it's just not enough. DSG get to 7. It wasn't the prettiest, but they got there.
Yeah, I mean, some of those shots were pretty, but I'm just still dying on the situation on site. My goodness. Felt like everybody ran out of ammo. And we will see a timeout from Noot. That's just their first, so the success they had in that first half, netting them a little bit more room here. Does give room for Poach to get in here, though. And talking about efficacies of the timeouts, DSG, not the same value as that first map where Breeze completely shifted after the 4-0 start, but definitely you can tell how often the approach changes out of these timeouts for DSG. I think right now doing a great job setting up Katarina. Katarina getting off 2 TPs, I think is definitely something we haven't seen since the Stone Ages. And oftentimes, too, Noot feels like they're running into that extra util that's coming out from the double controller from Misu and Hannah, and especially in that last round there, running out of time, falling back into a high tide again. There's just nothing to really take the sights after a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do they go from here? Again, DSG putting on a ferocious comeback and op in the hands of Katarina. 2 ults to work with from Hannah and Lazy Lion as well.
Looking to see if they want to throw that molly out to keep those players locked in from DSG, but we haven't quite been seeing this same aggression, especially now that that cascade comes down long into the bathroom. But is there a gap specifically for that? That's very cheeky there.
Yes, it is.
That's beautiful stuff. I mean, that's the micro level play that you're expecting from the top level. And not only that, but they use the cascade to end up more misdirection on whether Katarina stayed or not.
I've got your trail.
Can put another player in there. They can use Seamless to try to explode on this and maybe survive.
Between the molly and the stimmy, yeah, she gets away. It certainly works for Ware, but ultimately dies anyway.
Yeah,
and that was an orbital strike.
Exactly. Had the brim ult there, and I don't think she realized how much pressure she was actually under. Almost lost unstable there, too. Let's get healed back up. Seekers on their own, but no brim ult. Can't push these positions off as well.
I mean, you really can't. You don't. This is going to be difficult for them to reestablish. They're not going to have very much as far as control, but the guns could be all the difference maker. I thought she hit that. I would have lost my bloody mind.
There is a molly coming out.
1v3. There's the smoke. They're all weak.
There's a
the
Brimble
cascade.
now.
Did the Cascade keep it back? They got half. Millie on the swing. Katarina, 1v1, 10 HP. A little bit of time to play with this. Again, it did get to half.
Cove just broke.
Was on the tap. There's just not enough time. I don't think there's enough time, is there? Oh my gosh. Oh, that was so close. The Red Bull clutch though comes through.
Way too close.
They are so dead.
But still a 1v3 out of Millie. Remember, early pick here from Katarina, that prompted this pushing from Noot. Just dove onto the site. Molly comes out, that's why they have to get off. And then finds the kill for the Brimble too. Instantly uses that. Just not enough time for Katarina. I thought that smoke covered the slight gap and she found a place to defuse from. But no, she was just off the spike entirely.
0.32. Oh, that very well could be the difference maker too. We'll see. There's still a little bit of money here for DSG. They were able to buy up full. That bank starting to run a little lean. Katarina cleared off by the dog. Has to give the position up. Meanwhile, they try to go aggressive in from Hookah, and Zan's glad to deal with it.
Yeah, these are the types of fights that you were winning quite frequently on that first half.
Who's next?
These first kills consistently going their way. And look how far back you have to have that yo, right? Talking about finding that close. You just almost net themselves a kill on a Katarina. Dude, she goes for more, excuse me.
She's feeling it, I guess. But Zan's able to clean it up. Now 2 kills on the round for them. You see the orbital strike used. Zan's gotten a third. The ace may be on the cards. Lazy Lion and Hannah left up. Gonna approach things from different sides too. You see the gate crash going across. As maybe Lazy Lion can get away with something here. As Hannah's gotten 3. A 2v2, but now the pit dealt with. Oh my gosh! No way this falls that way! Zan is gonna have to ace to win the round.
Fake teleport.
Dog looking to see if they can find a clear. Nothing found. Those shots just barely missing. Zan with 4. 2 bullets left. Off the defuse. Zan has to go aggressive, trying to push forward, unsure about where they are. And Hannah gets 4. Hannah gets half. The round comes through for DSG.
Must win clutch. And big plays coming from Hannah.
Holy smokes, bro.
You thought Zan was gonna win that. As soon as you saw Hannah get off that spike, saw her moving in that instance. And this is the power of staying alive with that Brimble. Remember, we saw it last round. She was trying to get off site. Just didn't get quite deep enough. And then Lazy Lion too with the reflank onto the Viper's pit. Not enough awareness there. Out of Kari. They keep that up, the round's over.
Well, we continue. Is DSG refusing to give much more space up. You see the orb picked up for Lazy Lion, now halfway to the Seekers. What a shot. Was that through? Yeah, I think that was blind. I think it was just spam. Molly out now from Hannah. They've got the Reckoning. Reckoning's out from Hookah. Oh, well. They just destroyed them. Those were Sheriffs, and yeah, they had a couple of rifles in there, but this eco very well may secure the map.
Yeah, looking at the bank right now, I mean, Katarina's been in this position in the end of that first half. And ended up going for a very dangerous, difficult clutch to win. Not carrying the weapon through this time. Looks like she will choose to do so. And 4 rounds is definitely a streak that's possible here. DSG has made this something to reckon with, but Noot looks like they want to close out. These last couple rounds have been so strong in their favor, despite, Hannah going for that 1v1 clutch win. Every round, Noot is finding success with the early kills and then also the explosion that follows. This team can seriously pack a punch.
Yep. And we saw hints of it, we mentioned it, we saw hints of it on Breeze, but it's really coming to light here. They seem very decisive when they go. They're going as a unit, they're going together. They're set on what they want to do, and it's just providing so much value, and that's going to take us to a timeout. Courtesy of Poach from DSG. Try to hang on, and maybe, you mentioned it, it's possible.
Yep.
But to put together a 4-round streak here, when your back's against the ropes like this, just to get to OT is a big ask, Bala.
Absolutely, it is. I think that last round in particular, losing to, a couple sheriffs, that sort of thing, it's tough because you're losing the sight. Hannah's trying to hold on to the back. That's why those players are jumping out hookah. That's why they're committing the reckoning. They're trying to flood back, prevent the plant. But those decisions reek of desperation, reek of starting to lose situation or grasp on the situation, starting to feel the pressure. And that's not what you expect from DSG. You're just on map 2 in the the first round of this main event. Team that you're expecting to get better and better as time goes on. Noot is really putting up such a good fight. Honestly, in terms of the amount of stuff that I'm seeing overall, Noot, their strap hook, more complete than DSG right now.
At least on this map, yeah. I would have to agree.
I would argue even on Breeze, too. I think the comp gave a lot of options to DSG that are just natural, easy to flow, but Noot are coming out with the more difficult ideas. And DSG in a lot of instances are kind of just winning in pure skill.
Katarina taking the aggressive line, has the teleport at her feet, and a little bit of help with Hannah too. But you look at the buy, it's not great. A couple of stingers and rifles. And for Noot, they've been quiet. Finally, now some noise being made as the dog goes in through showers. And that turns Hannah's attention over. Oh my goodness, both of them dealing dinks to one another. Now the Seeker's invested. They're going to pop out on A. Keep an eye on Hannah. Out through short. Oh, Millie clears her. Malibu's already gotten up into heaven with the flash.
Yeah, that's beautiful. What a weird situation. They're constantly going for this flip on this site. They do clear out the heaven point, and that you saw in previous rounds was very devastating to hold on to.
Yes, it was. Oh, but the reflank from Kari could be trouble once more. They've taken a short. They've got to get some of these kills very quickly so they can deal with what's behind them or continue to scale forward. Zan trying to stay alive alongside Summer. Buy some time for Carrie to hit this filthy flank, and that's exactly what happens. 13-8 in favor of Noot, and Bala, we're going to Ascent.
That is just beautiful stuff. I mean, we saw a best of 3 from these two teams. There's history here, and it's going the same way, the full distance. This is wonderful from Noot, especially for their first main event to get all the way here. You saw the pre-deaths, them talking about how important it was for them to stay as a core, and now here, maybe pulling off an early upset right in the first round for their first main event could be massive, but still one map to play for it, and it's going to be difficult to pull off because it does not look like DSG is completely out of this at this point. DSG still something to play with. They just have to be able to deal with those extra ideas that Noot is coming out with. And the thing is, now that we're going to Ascent, that's a map that's a lot less experimental. I'm really interested to see how it's going to play in this meta, right, with the jet nerfs as they are, but that's not a map that you're expecting too much to change on, where you can pull out, weird executes like that. What we just saw in Bind, where they're flipping the site every time.
Well, the nice thing is you're not going to have to wait for very long to figure out what's going to happen. Ascent on the other side of this break. Stay tuned.